1 second, please.
Right.
All right. Going live there. And going live there. Cool. All right. All right, man. Your name is Bitter Truth?
Yes.
All right, Bitter Truth. How's it going? Are you at least 18? And did you want to talk about what I had on the board?
Yes, I'm over 18. And so the question is, can you give me a good reason to believe in your God? So before I answer that question, do you believe in God at all? Or do you believe in the God?
No, I do not.
Okay. So why should you believe in my God? So I believe I'm a Christian, so I believe in the God of the Bible,
Okay.
the Old and New Testament. Okay, and here's why I know that the God of the Bible is real and that there is a God.
Sure.
All right. So when you look up at the sky, right, you see one moon, right? And you see one sun, right? We got that part.
Yep.
So the chances of one moon and one sun being placed there by random chance, it's a near impossibility. I wouldn't even put it on a scale of percentage.
Yeah, sure.
Jason, no. Jason, it's not your turn. You have to be quiet while he speaks. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Bitter Truth.
Yeah, so to think that one moon and one sun came by accident, it's kind of mind-boggling. So now say if we had two moons and maybe one sun or half a moon or half a sun, then I'll say maybe this was random. Maybe there is no God, but to see there's one sun with all solar system, with the Earth, one moon, and then there's one Earth, and all three are working together. It's foolish to think that there's no God. That was strategic. And go ahead, I think.
Okay, how do you actually show that that's strategic? Because there are other planets in our solar system that have like 66 moons. Some have Jupiter I think has 90 moons, and Pluto also has one moon. So why are we special to have this one moon and no other planet is not special? Like that doesn't really show that a God exists. That just shows that we have one moon.
Yeah, that's true. So I'm based on like the Earth I'm on right now and what I see, it shows that there's a God. Okay, now I know that scientists claims that there are, NASA claims there's other moons, many moons for like, say Saturn. But have you ever seen an actual image of those moons? How do you know those are actual moons? Like where's the actual footage of? I'm not denying it. I'm not saying I'm not denying it, but where's the actual footage? Because they have telescopes that's worth billions of dollars. They should be able to see things that's like.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Almost light years away. So where's these images of these extra moons?
That's what I was going to say. You can actually Google it. Like the recent Juno project actually passed by one of Jupiter's moons. The Voyager probe has passed by moons, and we actually do have the new telescope that we have right now, the James Webb telescope, has taken pictures of Titan, one of the most popular moons of Saturn, Enceladus, one of the most popular moons of Jupiter. It's taking pictures of other moons as well. Yeah, we actually have the photos of those moons.
So and they're not CGI?
Not CGI, no. You can have artist rendering, like to clear it up a little bit, but we actually do have like actual photos of those moons, especially in the Juno mission that passed by, I think, Europa. And there was
every image I see on NASA of these so-called other planets is always CGI, like almost over 90% of the time. It's CGI or rendering.
Yeah, not actual footage. But I'm talking about like actual footage. We have that.
Really? So what is the footage called, and what planet is this from? Like,
I think we have photos of Titan, and we have photos of Europa. We've taken actual pictures of them. Like there was the Juno mission flew by. I think if I'm not mistaken, it flew by Europa. Okay, and we actually have photos of them. We actually have that.
Okay, so if you don't believe my statement that us having one moon, one sun, and one Earth is not enough proof for God. Okay, so let's look at another thing. So I've seen many atheists speak on this app, and what I've come to notice is that whether you're an atheist or Christian, you wake up with God on your mind. So that shows that your body and your spirit is saying you need this being. So that is why he is constantly on the mind of atheists, even though they claim not to believe in him. just like for example, right? When you wake up, or you think about food, you wake up, oh, I gotta drink something, oh, I gotta, use the bathroom. These are things you have to do. Same thing with whether you're atheist, or a Christian. You wake up with God on your mind because He's a necessity. So, because I've seen many atheists, so I don't believe in Him, but day after day, like clockwork, I see them continually talking about this being that they say doesn't exist. So even though God is always on their mind, they can't really explain like why is He always on my mind, even though I'm denying Him. Because that's their body and their spirit saying, you know what? Don't be foolish. Do not deny what is most needed within this existence. More needed than water, more needed than food, right? So
I mean, what I would say is that he's not really on my mind. I just kind of do this because it's kind of what my my hobby is. But the second thing I would say is that every day that I wake up, the first thing I think about, is like you said, using the restroom, getting something to eat, going to work. It's not really the first thing on my mind is, oh, I gotta disprove God exists. Like I only do this from Thursday to Sunday. Like this is not really my whole life. You know what I'm saying? So it's when it comes to me personally, like that's incorrect. But I can tell you for even other atheists, there's like it's not something that's always on our mind. We just talk about this a lot because it's important to talk about because this is something that affects our lives, right? This is something that actually affects a lot of society. You feel me? Like people who believe in God have, or are religious have started wars over this. You know what I'm saying? So it's it's definitely important. You know what I mean? So that's why we talk about it. It has an effect on our society. It has an effect on our fellow countrymen, our fellow people. So we're going to talk about it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's the reason why we always talk about it. It's not really because we need it or it's on our mind. Now, of course, for some folks, this is for some people, this is like their income, right? Like you're talking about someone like you're talking about like someone like big like Alex O'Connor or Matt Dillahunty. Yeah, these like huge discussions and debates that they do is really like how they make money and stuff like that, right? I'm not at that point yet, and when I get to that point, sure, then you can say that, oh, it's always on your mind, and even for them, they just talk about it because this is how they make money now. You know what I mean? So it's not really a thing that we're constantly paying attention to. It is just because we talk about it because it's important.
I understand what you're saying. So when I made that statement, I didn't mean that in terms of every atheist. Like for you, for example, right? This is my first time seeing you on this app and actually speaking with you. But there are other atheists on this app that I've spoken with, and I watch them like on this app every day. There was one time where an atheist was on this app for 24 hours straight, literally talking about a God they say is not fake, and then the next day the same thing. So I noticed it wasn't just with one of them. It's like many. So it's like their mind and body is saying, you know what, this being is real, but their rebelliousness saying, you know what, he's not. So it's like a conflict. But here's more proof of God. So I stated that the one moon on earth, you done that one. I believe that wasn't random. Then I say the fact that, even though many deny Christ or God, he's always on their mind. So that's your body and soul crying out that you must change. Also, another thing is that, right?
I mean, why
the great flood. Wait.
Let me just ask a question. Why can't us having one moon be random? Why can't it be?
I mean, okay, one moon and one sun. Like the chances of that is like, let me see on a scale on a scale of balance. Let me see.
The chances of that is one because we have other planets in the galaxy that have one sun, right? So, like that's not unique to Earth. Like the nearest star to us, Proxima Centauri, has like 7 planets orbiting it. Like it's like they're all rocky planets. They don't. I don't think any of them. Well, one of them's a gas giant, but a few of them are rocky planets. Like we know that, right? So it's not surprising that we would have one sun. A whole bunch of other like planets in our solar system also have one sun. That's not surprising.
Yeah, so I like to look at these images because you claim that there are actual footage, like videos or footage of these of these planets, like pictures. I would have to look again, but in the past when I look them up, it's like CGI. But here's more proof of God in my view. So the Great Flood, right? Are you familiar with the Great Flood?
Yeah, that didn't happen.
Oh. Without question, it happened. Okay, let me prove that it happened. Do you know what ringwoodite is? Ringwoodite. So recently, scientists discovered that there is water trapped under the earth in a mineral called ringwoodite that is 3 times the amount of all the oceans on our surface combined. So they asked themselves, where did this water come from? They can't even answer that, but I'll answer it for you. The Great Flood. So when the flood happened, right? God opened the earth, and when that water went down, the basically the minerals within the earth, it absorbed excess amount of water. Look at ringwoodite. Scientists recently discovered a massive amount of water. They can't explain where it came from, but I'm giving you the answers right now. It came from the Great Flood. And also, they have this discovered fossils in they have discovered they have discovered fossils in the Sahara Desert. So they discovered world fossils in the Sahara Desert. So the reason why you see fossils in the Sahara Desert because when the Great Flood happened, the whole Earth became flooded. So many animals, like marine animals that was in one part of Earth, they went to another. And so when it begins to subside, those animals perish in places where they weren't known supposed to be, which is why you will see fossils in Sahara Desert. Look it up.
Okay.
They'll tell you found many fossils there, Mount Everest.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. All right, so there are several issues with what you're saying, right? Number one, they can't explain how that water got there. That's the first thing. It's called fossil water. It's basically water from prehistoric times that got trapped under the earth because things shift, right? Things get buried and they get trapped. All that groundwater sinks to the bottom because water always finds the lowest level. So as things shift, as dirt, sand, and all that other stuff gets on top of old rivers and water, stuff like that, all that water sinks to the bottom. That's how we get all that water. But that's one explanation. There's multiple. But another thing, when you talk about all the fossils that they found in the Sahara Desert, whatever, all that's because it's because of plate tectonics. Yeah, I mean, how mountains form, right? Mountains form because the plates, they crash against each other and they do like this, like the plates of the crust, they crash against each other and then they do this, and that's a mountain. You know what I mean? Or they go under each other and that creates other mountains or valleys and stuff like that. Basically what happens is that the Sahara and places like that, those places used to be underwater, which is how they find fossils on other places too. The Sahara also used to be a lot more lush, a lot more green than it is right now. But because of the precession of the earth, now the Sahara gets other type of winds and other type of weather patterns that make it a desert. But about 50,000 years ago, it was a grassland. And we know that because we have cave paintings of people painting themselves, hunting animals and stuff like that in the caves of the Sahara. So we know people used to be there and it used to be a grassland. You see what I'm saying? So there are explanations for these things. When it comes to the Great Flood, we have no evidence that it actually happened. All we have is a story in the book. Yeah, I mean, we have if you look at how floods happen and what the evidence that floods leave behind, the Great Flood doesn't match it at all. Because if you were to have a flood in an area, right, what you will find different bones and different animals kind of mixed together. Yeah, I mean, but we don't see that in the Great Flood. We see layers, right? If there was a flood, we would see those things could get uprooted. And we don't see that nowhere on this planet. You see what I'm saying? Now, places where we do know monsoons and flood happen, we do see uprooting, but for a worldwide flood, we don't see that at all. So if it was worldwide, we'll see uprooting basically on every single layer on the planet, but we don't see that. So there's really no evidence of that being the case. And not only that, how did other civilizations survive through the flood? Because when was the flood supposed to happen? The flood was supposed to happen around the time of Noah, right? Was that 6,000 years ago, 7,000 years ago? We have civilizations that existed during that time and after that time. So what's the evidence of the flood?
Yeah, so again, there's much evidence. So basically, you claim that the reason why there's a lot of water under the earth is due to basically tectonic shifts and plates moving.
Yeah, plate tectonics. Things get buried and water sinks to the lowest level, etc. Stuff like that.
Well, I kind of disagree with that, theory or assumption because, say, for example, right, think of ringwoodite as a sponge. Imagine scientists finding a way to take ringwoodite, right, and they just squeeze all that water out the mineral, and they, place it on the surface with the rest of the water, the piece of ocean water. Do you know how that water would be? It would be almost, unquantifiable. It would be so much that. So if you look it up, they can't explain it. Scientists will tell you they don't know where it came from. So, but the reason why your assumption or theory is incorrect is because, again, there's just so much that it's even scientifically impossible to say that came out naturally. So there was an event that they can't explain.
What are you calling it? You said erudite water?
Ringwoodite. So it's like RINGWOODITE. Yeah, and also about I have to look up the cave paintings in the Sahara Desert. I didn't know like I haven't heard about. I know in North America there's like a lot of
There's
caves.
explanation for it. Yeah, I just googled it right now. There's explanation for it.
Okay, what do you see? What is your explanation for the wrinkle diet, the amount of water?
Exactly what I said. Plate tectonics, global water cycle, planetary evolution. Yeah, exactly what I said. Plate tectonics. Like the moment I googled it, that's the first thing that came up for the explanation for it. Plate tectonics. Like the tectonic plates move, and that's how water gets seeped into it. That's the explanation. Yeah, and when it comes to the fossils and everything like that, like I said, like plates, we know plate tectonics exist because we can actually see them. You ever heard of the San Andreas Fault in California?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, that's like absolute proof of plate tectonics. Like you can literally see it, and not only that, scientists can measure how much is it moving every year, and they can see that it moves like 2 or 5 centimeters a year. So if it's moving 2 to 5 centimeters a year, you can calculate how far back it goes and see that 100 million years ago the continents were shaped another way. You see what I'm saying? So it's all math and physics basically. But yeah, there's evidence. They can explain how ringwoodite water is. You know what I mean? You have to have like actual evidence of a global catastrophe, global flood. Like when was the flood supposed to happen exactly? Like how many years ago?
So I would say it happened about 12,000 maybe. Just like
12,000 years ago.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, like around. Let me see. Yeah, like around. I would say like 12,000 years ago, maybe.
All right, so we have evidence of people existing all over the planet 12,000 years ago. So was it local or was it? Because I think it was just a local event that got exaggerated. It couldn't have been worldwide because we have like native cultures, like indigenous cultures in America that existed 12,000 years ago. Same thing with in Australia, those indigenous cultures existed 12,000 years ago. So it's like it can't be worldwide because these places had people that were there 12,000 years ago.
Yeah, I forgot about this one evidence that proves a great flood. So, dinosaur fossils, right?
Dinosaur fossils. Yep.
Okay, and do you believe that dinosaurs like are natural creatures to the earth, like basically based on evolution, or you believe they're natural to the earth?
Yeah, that's the evidence that we have.
All right, so I'm gonna tell you where dinosaurs actually come from. So the reason why they are called terrible lizards is because scientists know that when the Nephilims came down, they gene spliced different beasts, and they created beasts called like dinosaurs, like T-Rex.
Wait, what's the evidence of that?
Yes, dinosaur means terrible lizard. So the reason why they call these beings or these beasts terrible because scientists know that they're an abomination. And so the reason why God flooded out the dinosaurs, about T-Rex. Yeah, that's why they call terrible lizards. They're terrible.
No, they call them terrible lizards because they thought they were related to lizards because of their bone structure, but they didn't call them terrible lizards because they think angels splice things with them.
Terrible. No, the word terrible. The reason why they call them terrible because they are an abomination.
Right. I know what but the reason why they call them terrible lizard is not because it's an abomination. They call them terrible lizard because like they thought that they were related to like Komodo dragons and stuff like that. Like the Komodo dragon is the biggest lizard, right? So when they found other creatures that kind of look like that, they just call them terrible lizards. But it's not because they think in Nephilims. That's not the reason why they call them that.
No, they know they're an abomination. They're basically not natural to the earth. Basically, what the angels did.
All right, what I'm saying is that
they gene splice.
Listen, what I'm saying is that when scientists called them terrible lizards, the reason wasn't because they're an abomination. They simply called them that because like they wanted to come up with a name, and because they look kind of like lizards, but they were bigger than lizards that they saw that during that day, they just called them terrible lizard. It wasn't because of Nephilims.
Well, you're incorrect, but if you want to believe that, because again, lions are big and powerful, but we don't call them terrible. Let me see what else is big and powerful.
Right. I understand. Right. I understand that when scientists first discovered dinosaurs, they called them terrible lizards. What I'm saying is that their motivation for doing that wasn't because they talked about Nephilims. That wasn't their motivation. That's what I'm saying. Now, if you're saying that dinosaurs were created by Nephilim, you first have to actually prove Nephilim actually exist. How do you prove that?
Okay, prove that Nephilim exists. Well, I know you don't believe in the Bible, but the Bible was the first source. So, and then again, you have to look at
Right, but the Bible is a
Look at the
claim, though.
Babylonian text, King Og. They show, I believe it's the Babylonian depictions. King
Right,
Og.
but those are
They
claims,
show a
though.
being with wings holding a lion, basically, and it makes a lion like a house cat.
Right, but those are claims, though. What's the evidence that they're actually real?
Yeah, it's written in historical texts. Many civilizations mention giants.
Like civilizations also mention dragons and fairies. Like, should we believe in dragons and fairies too?
Well, yeah. So what people call fairies is actually a lot of times are demons. So when you hear fairies, it's like basically a being or a jinn, right? Jinns, fairies.
All right,
they basically another name for spirits.
So, bit of truth. This is the point I'm trying to get to. Just because some people say some supernatural thing exists doesn't mean it actually does. Just because like some ancient texts talk about dragons and fairies doesn't mean they're actually real, because every single culture had some sort of dragon, had some sort of fairy, but we've never actually proven dragon.
So
we're never actually proven
that had it. But if you see many saying the same thing, they have to tell you, they have to ring something in your mouth. Okay,
not really, bro. Not really, because every single culture has a different form of a fairy or a dragon. That doesn't make them real.
Yeah, they have different names because of their language, but they all see the same spirits. Again, fairies and jinns. So basically, the spirits that are on the earth, demons, they go by fairies, jinns. What are the names?
Bro,
Iblis. Like they have many names, but many cultures mention the same thing about these things existence.
Are you really trying to tell me that genies are real, bro?
Yeah, genies is another word for jinn. Yeah.
All right. So if genies are real, where can I find one? Because I could really use $1 million right now. You know what I mean? So like I could go ahead and if you could find me a genie, I'll go ahead and wish to go back in time so I can invest in Bitcoin. If genies were real, you know how chaotic this world would be if genies were actually real. Like that wouldn't, because genies grant wishes, right? So if someone were able to find a genie, all they would do is go back in time and wish to take out the mustache man. You know what I'm saying? So like, well
there's certain extents or abilities which things they could grant. For example, right? A lot of people, make offerings unto Satan for, $1 million, rappers, singers. Okay, do it for me, you'll get this. That's basically a form of a genie. So basically, Satan, he has demons over the earth right here, this place, and it basically work for him. So if you go to them and say, I need this, they're okay, sure, just conjure me up. What do you want? Okay, here's what you must do to get this. I'll offer this. Or
all right. So if I were to sell my soul to a genie and tell him in replace of that, I want you to have world hunger no longer be a thing, they're gonna do that?
Okay, so if you went to a genie and stated that you want world hunger to no longer be a thing, so
yeah, exactly. Get rid of world hunger. Are you telling me that all the people who ran into genies, all they did was sell their soul to be famous? None of them said end world hunger? Like no one ever?
But even if they did come to a genie or a jinn with that preposition, it won't be able. They won't grant it because again, their nature is evil, so they're not here to help. So
if they aren't here to help, why would they make rappers famous and all their families have generational wealth? Then that really helped them out.
Yeah, but when you think about it, look at most rappers they made rich that took up to basically pollute the listeners. People that speak gibberish, things that make no sense.
What about
you could
rappers
mumble something
don't?
and they appear okay? This mumble something, promote unaliving someone, pew and someone, right?
And what about rappers who don't
rich,
and become really famous?
Huh?
What about rappers who don't and became really famous? Did they sell their soul to a genie too?
Well, most rappers that you see that are like really famous, they have done it. Yes.
All right. So Kendrick Lamar sold his soul to a genie, and so did J. Cole, even though they don't talk about unaliving people. That makes sense?
Well, you don't really hear about J. Cole anymore because I believe that he saw what's actually. So basically, here's how Satan work, right? First, he introduced you into this, like the industry, like, hey, here's what you could possibly get. They want once the person have $1 million to see a lifestyle, then he comes with the offers. And a lot of people step away at that point. So I believe that's what happened with J. Cole because we don't really hear about him anymore. So I think he just left once he came with that offer. And now he's just like on his own, which was a good thing. In terms of Kendrick Lamar, so he have done things. I think he posed like as Christ on the cross, which is blasphemous. He does a lot of. Let me see what other things he did. I think he posed on the cross, like the crucifix.
So I'm not sure what you guys are doing.
And
yeah, me neither. Give me 1 second. I'm letting.
I'm gonna get someone else. I'm gonna get someone else a chance soon.
All right. We need to go ahead and give someone else a chance. But
so one more thing. Yeah. So basically, sure. I'm gonna give the mic up next. So basically, God Israel, that his creation is evident. If it's that he.
All right. How's it going? What's your name? Scoodle?
No, it's just a nickname. But my real name is Terry.
All right, Terry. How's it going, Terry? Are you at least 18? And did you want to talk about what I had on the board?
Yeah, I'm 23.
All right, cool. And did you want to talk about what I had on the board? Can you give me a reason to believe in a God?
Well, from what I've been hearing, like, do you believe in anything, or are you just kind of like atheist?
I'm an atheist.
Okay. So have you ever picked up the Bible? Or?
I was a Christian until I was 29.
Okay. So you kind of didn't agree with a lot of things when you got older. You kind of seen some stuff you really want to agree with.
Yeah, when I got older, I was seeing that a lot of this is either untrue. There's no evidence that it is true, and there's no good reason to believe it.
Okay. So boom. So you don't believe the flood happened?
No, there's no evidence of that.
I mean, technically there is. It's scientific.
Such as.
Okay, so if you were to go and look right now and say, is there actual physical proof that the earth was flooded? They're going to say no. There's no scientific proof.
Okay, so what's the evidence?
No, that is the evidence. Because if you go and read, it says.
Hold on. Let me get this straight. You said that the evidence of the flood is the fact that there is no evidence.
Yeah, because the world wasn't flooded.
Are you trolling me right now, bro?
No, I'm so for real. Just listen. The Bible said the world wasn't just flooded by water on the earth. It was flooded from water in the heavens. He opened up the heavens. So yes, there is going to say scientifically that it's not enough water on the earth. But even then, like I said, the Bible said the heavens opened up. So that's water, not of earth. Not only that, there have been fault lines found and cracks in the earth. You can look that up right now.
Yeah, that's tectonic plates.
So, and then it also says, but the way they're designed is not made to where anything can drain. The only possibility for those is for things to shoot out.
That's not what plate tectonics says. Because there's subduction plates. You ever heard of subduction plates? Yep. Plates that go under the other plate.
Okay, but go look it up right now. Go look up the fault lines.
Okay, hold on, Terry. Listen, there are subduction plates, meaning plates that go underneath another one, and there's also plates that crash into each other, which is how you get mountains. But there's plates that subdue under each other, like the plates that are like the mid-Atlantic ridge, basically. Those are subduction plates that go underneath. So when you say that they only shoot out, they can't go under, that's wrong. They're subduction plates.
But that's what science says, though. If you go look it up.
Science doesn't say what you're saying. Science says that there are plates. Yeah, there are plates that shoot out. There are plates that crash into each other, and there are plates that subdue. So there are different plates, bro. Like, I'm not sure what you mean.
Okay, what I'm meaning is the fault lines that I'm speaking of. The only possible outcome for those to be is for things to shoot out, not to go in. So again, that accurately.
But the fault lines. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I have no idea. I have no clue what you mean. We find plates that are subduction, like we've seen them.
Okay, I'm not disregarding that, but what I'm telling you is how it actually aligns with what the Bible says.
None of that aligns with what the Bible says, bro. Where did all the water go?
All the water. You do know that science is just now finding another ocean. They don't even know how big it is. 400.
Yeah, we talked about that already. That's fossil water. We know how it got there.
But so how do y'all know that? But scientists don't even know how big the ocean is or how much water is in it. They don't even know how big.
What are you talking about?
Because it's called plate tectonics, bro. And we know the water cycle. The water cycle, like water always finds the lowest level, right? So as water seeps into the earth, like the water gets stuck into crevices and stuff like that. And then plate tectonics does the rest. I'm really lost on how you think that this is all evidence for a great flood.
But you're exactly. Science tells us only a certain percentage of the ocean and water in the earth has been discovered or found.
So then how do you get to a great flood from that?
is science going to tell me that a flood didn't happen at the same time? Tell me that they don't know how much water is on the earth.
I don't understand why you're trying to prove a religion of God by using science.
Christ Almighty.
Because y'all like to go to science.
Sorry about that. Hey, y'all, give me a second. So, hey, Kate, sorry about that, Kate. Kate, go ahead and stay in the comments for me because I'm only taking one-on-one right now. All right, I appreciate you, but stay in the comments for me because I'm only taking one-on-one right now. All right. So, Terry, in order to actually prove that a flood happened, you need evidence that the flood actually did happen. All you're saying is that science can't accurately describe how much $250,000 of water are there on Earth, therefore flood. That's ridiculously stupid.
That's the reason to say, how would you even believe them if the same people that's telling you the flood didn't happen, the same people that can't even explain how much water is on the Earth?
Okay, let me ask you a question. When was the flood supposed to happen?
The flood happened back in the time of Noah. Now, even if you
how long ago was that? How long ago was that?
It was over 1,000 years ago now.
1,000 years ago was medieval times, my guy.
I said over 1,000 years.
Okay, how long ago?
Over 2,000 years ago then.
Over 2,000 years ago was
BC.
during over 2,000 years ago.
Like 25.
Yeah, over 2,000 years ago was around the time of medieval times.
1,000 years ago would be Jesus. It'd be like 25
BC,
years. It would be before him.
This is before Christ and all of that. This is
okay.
BC.
So how many years ago exactly?
I can't tell you a number off my head, but it was probably in the time, like I said, BC. Probably, I want to say 2,500 BC, somewhere in there.
2,500 BC was around the time of the Greeks. The Greeks were around.
Before that. Like I said, I can't give you an exact estimate right now off my head, but
what the point I'm trying to make is that whenever you would say that the flood was supposed to happen, we have evidence of human activity.
But there is evidence though.
Hold on, listen. Hold on, listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying to you. Listen to what I'm saying to you. Listen, Terry, calm down, bro. Listen to what I'm saying to you. Around the time, Terry, listen. You can't listen if you're not talking. If you're talking, bro. Around the time of the so-called flood, we have evidence of human activity all over the planet. So there couldn't have been a flood at that time if human activity is occurring all over the planet.
You do know not all civilizations that we have now were not then.
I said human activity
that were there.
I said human activity.
Even in the Mesopotamian,
Terry, listen to what I'm saying. I said human activity, meaning it doesn't necessarily have to be the classical civilizations that we understand today. I'm talking about things like paintings, pottery, stories, things like that. Human activity. We see it all over the world. From 12,000, matter of fact, from earlier than 12,000 years ago, at least 100,000 years ago, from when humanity popped up on the planet. At least modern anatomical humans. We've had we see human activity going back at least 150 to 200,000 years. So when was the flood supposed to happen?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I can't give you exact date on that, but it was back then in that time because civilization restarted. Because like I said, if you go look in those Mesopotamian cultures and all of that text that they believe, they all restarted from a worldwide flood, they say. Not just that civilization.
You're talking about the Epic of Gilgamesh. The Epic of Gilgamesh doesn't say that.
I'm not even talking about.
Hold on. Listen.
The Mesopotamian region was
yes. The Mesopotamian region, the Mesopotamian story, the Mesopotamian story is the Epic of Gilgamesh.
But the Mesopotamian region was still an actual region.
I understand that. The problem with what you're saying is that by the time the Epic of Gilgamesh was written, Mesopotamia had already existed for like close to 1,000 years.
Exactly. So that's why I'm saying Mesopotamia even speaks of a worldwide flood in their
but the story of the Great Flood and Epic of Gilgamesh is way different, or not too different, but you can tell that Noah is a derivative of it. So it's different. They have several gods.
And that's the
it has. Hold on, listen. They have several. Because we know when the story of Noah was written, and Mesopotamia existed before Abraham existed.
Of course, because Abraham lived in the city of Ur.
Yeah, exactly.
His father and all of that, they worship the idol gods.
Yeah, but exactly.
So Abraham by so many years though.
How do you have what proof do you have of that?
It tells us Abraham's age, Noah's age, how long he lived, and all of that in the Bible. That's why I said, have you?
So just because the Bible says so doesn't make it true. As a matter of fact,
has so many facts.
Just because listen, Terry. Just because the Bible says Noah is real doesn't make Noah real. You need to actually have evidence of Noah. We don't even have any evidence of Abraham. So how do we have evidence of Noah if there's no evidence of Abraham?
We have written tablets all over the world that's been found of inscriptions dating back of verification of all of this.
The problem with
been found.
Hold on. The problem with you're saying, Terry, is that if you're gonna say that the flood happened around the time of Mesopotamia, we have civilizations.
I said.
All right. I got you. But we have civilizations existing all throughout that time. So these civilizations didn't pop up all around the same time.
The only civilization that spoke.
I know that. Multiple.
How can you say that you don't even believe that the flood actually
because every single civilization that has a flood story are near a body of water. All of them.
Okay, that's fine. It was water on the earth.
You're right. So hold on, but Terry, you're not actually understanding what I'm saying. But every civilization. Hold on, Terry, hold on, bro. Every single Terry, I'm gonna start muting you if you keep doing that, bro. Listen. Every single civilization that has a flood story is always near a body of water, and bodies of water always flood. So of course they're all gonna have a flood story. But civilizations that are not near a body of water, guess what they don't have? They don't have a flood story.
You do know a lot of those civilizations, though, that weren't by a lot of body of water, weren't even here yet. For example, Egypt wasn't even here yet when the flood happened.
Egypt is near a body of water.
But it wasn't here.
How do you know that?
Because it predates. The flood predates when Egypt even came on the scene.
How do you know that?
Egypt didn't even spoke about until the book of Exodus.
How do you know that? Listen to my question. Listen to my damn question, bro.
Actual evidence.
Okay, I'm gonna mute you. Listen to my actual question. You said that the flood was before Egypt. How do you know that? You need to prove the flood happened first.
Like most to prove this, and I'm not an atheist.
Hold on, legend. So Terry, you need to show that a flood actually happened first. Oh, let me stop the drop-in guest. All right, y'all, I'm stopping the drop-in guest for now. If you are a friendly of mine, I appreciate you, but I'm gonna ask you to leave the stage for a bit. I'll bring you up on later. All right, I'm gonna stop the drop-in guest. But if you're a friendly of mine, go ahead and drop and I'll bring you up later. I appreciate you. So Egypt has existed for a very long time, Terry, since about at least 9 to 10,000 BCE. So you're saying that the flood happened around 12,000 BCE? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, logical. That seems logical, host.
Hold on, legend. Let me talk to Terry first. All right. So if the flood was supposed to happen around 12,000 or 13,000 BCE, you run into the problem of human activity existing all over the planet around that time.
I never said it happened. It could have happened way before that.
All right. So when then?
In the time of Noah. Which I actually
Which is when
off my phone and actually because it's gonna take me out of here. I'm not buying.
You don't know.
All right, let me go ahead and do this. Time of Noah.
It's before the Neolithic era.
Yeah, I've been
telling you to look. Hold on. Everybody be quiet. All right. So Noah's time refers to the biblical era before the Great Flood, characterized by extreme, etc. Hold on. Let me do this. When was the time of Noah? Let's do that. So they place the time of Noah in the mid-3rd millennium BCE. So around 2348 to 2349 BCE. If it's 2348 to 2349, you're gonna run into an issue there. You know that, right? Because there's civilization that exists around that time.
Oh, exactly.
It's not your turn, Daniel.
Flooded because it was wicked.
It's not your turn, Daniel.
The flood came.
Oh, hold on. Listen.
People in the land. That's
Terry. Listen, Terry. Hold on. Listen, Terry. Listen.
Right.
Terry, listen to what I'm saying. In 2348, there were civilizations that existed.
Of course, the Tubal Cain people, all of those, they got flooded because they were in wickedness.
I'm gonna mute you. In 2348, there were civilizations that existed before that time, during that time, and after that time in an unbroken line.
Duh.
How do you explain that?
Like I said, the whole reason for the flood, because
Terry, stop. Terry, no, I'm gonna tell you to stop because you're not actually answering my question. Listen to the question. Terry, you're not answering it. Terry. No, Terry. I'm mute you again. I'm mute you again because you're not actually answering the question. I didn't ask you about the reason of the flood. That's not what I asked you. That's not what I asked you. I didn't ask you. Be quiet, bro. Be quiet. I didn't ask you the reason for the flood. That's not what I asked you. This is what I'm asking you. Listen, bro. You can't listen if you're talking. Listen to my actual question. This is my actual question. If the time of the flood was in 2348, we have civilization that existed before that time, through that time, and after that time in an unbroken line. Ancient China, for example. Ancient China has existed since about 5000 BCE, and they existed in 23 BCE and existed after 23 BCE in an unbroken line. We have their records.
And again,
so listen, hold on, listen, stop. If it's an unbroken line, they have no stop in their civilization. They're riding throughout all this time. There's an unbroken line.
Okay.
So that means that the flood cannot possibly be worldwide because China existed during that time and did not get flooded. We have their records. We know they existed through this time. So how can it be? How can it be, Daniel, be quiet. How can it be a worldwide flood, a global flood, if China still exists during this time? It cannot be.
All right, I'm finna explain. You say what was the cause of the flood? Yes.
That's not what I asked you.
Okay.
Not what he asked at all. Okay. And that's a good question, what he's asking. I'm on your side, but you're not answering his question.
Okay, ask the question again, because what did he say?
He's asking
Jesus,
how did other civilizations exist.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Okay, how did they exist before and through?
No, through.
Yeah, okay. They existed through because if you look, but he doesn't believe the Bible. Those spirits, they stayed after, even after the flood. And the reason the flood
we're not talking about spirits. We're talking about
spirits. Physical people. Yeah. We're not talking about spirits, Terry. He's listen.
Bringing up a good argument. I disagree with everything he fucking says, but he's bringing up a great argument.
All right. So, Terry, listen to the question again, please. Terry, Daniel, it's not your turn. Y'all, I'm going to ask y'all to do this. Be adults. We all learn in elementary school that when it's not your turn, you don't go. All right. So Terry, listen to the question again. If the flood was supposed to happen around 2348 BCE, you're going to run into a problem because the civilization of China existed in 5000 BCE. It existed in 2300 BCE. It existed after that time and still exists today. So if the flood was supposed to be global, how did China survive?
That's a question. That's a great question.
For the first half, that the people that was, you say, that was living at the time the flood supposedly happened. Yes, there were people living there at that time. Now, it also says that after, people still live, because if that's the case, then a lot of people, like you say, in the Mesopotamian culture wouldn't have been here to restart the civilization. So they had to.
I don't think you're understanding what my actual question is, Terry. Terry, the ancient China has 0 documents of a flood happening to their civilization. 0.
That's not true. At all.
Daniel, it is not your turn.
But that's not true.
That's not true.
I told you that
it is not your turn, Daniel.
Civilizations have documents of a flood. I've been said that from the beginning.
All right, cool. Let's look up a flood story of China. Flood story China.
It wasn't the name of China.
I'm pretty sure all civilizations have a flood story.
Yeah, all these civilizations have a flood story. Yeah, that's correct. They all have a flood story.
Not what you said.
Yeah, all the civilizations have a flood story, but the Chinese flood story.
China.
Yeah, China has a flood story, but it's not a worldwide one, is it?
Yes, it is. It's a story of you.
It's a local. It doesn't matter if it's worldwide.
How would they know it's worldwide? Just where there was it. If they're flooded out, how would they know?
Everybody be quiet. Everybody be quiet. Oh yeah. You're all right. You're all right. That's my mistake. Yes, China has a flood story. It does have a flood story.
That's what he's saying.
China, be quiet. I mean, legend, be quiet, please.
Much love, brother.
It's not your turn. All right. So yeah, in Chinese mythology, they have a flood story. China has like 4 or 5 rivers. So not very surprising that they're gonna have a flood story.
4 or 5 rivers.
Yeah, but you have to accept now that every civilization.
Yo. Do not come off mute again. I'm talking to Terry. So Terry, yes, every civilization had a flood story. China has a flood story. The problem is that none of these flood stories match up. None of them.
No, your date is just off.
Everybody has their own derivative. Everybody has their own perspective.
So, but the thing is, like the thing is. Hold on, listen. I know it talks about a global flood, but the problem is that ancient China again existed before this time supposedly happened, and through it as well. The Chinese flood story is mythology. Even they knew it was mythology.
The Bible allows with it. The Bible.
Hold on, Terry. The Chinese flood story is mythology, and even they knew it was mythology.
But Christian is theology, though.
I know that. No, Christianity is mythology. Christianity is mythology. There's no evidence of it. Christianity is mythology. So but hold on, Terry. You're really not answering this question, bro. And I asked you 10 minutes ago. You're really not answering it. How did China survive through this global flood? Their flood story is mythology.
It's not mythology. It's an account.
Daniel, I'm gonna drop you if you get off the mic again. I just didn't I tell you be an adult and be quiet till I.
Let Daniel talk.
No, I'm not gonna let Daniel talk. It's your turn. You talk.
No, he can talk.
It is your turn. You talk, unless you're a coward. You talk. It's your turn.
Up in everything. You're already.
It's your turn. You talk.
Let him talk.
No, Daniel, and no, Terry. This is my live, not yours. It's your turn. You talk, unless you don't want to talk anymore.
Bro,
I'm not running. I want you to talk because this is your turn. You talk.
I plead the fifth now.
Okay. You can go ahead and have a nice day. All right, Legend. How's it going, Legend? Are you at least 18? And did you want to talk about what I had on the board? Your time to shine, Legend. It's your turn, Legend. Legend, you had a lot to say until now. Legend in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cool. All right. Khalif, how's it going, Khalif? Are you at least 18? And did you want to talk about what I had on the board?
Yeah, 2016, yeah.
Great. Can you give me a good reason to believe in a God?
We don't even understand, not even a drop in a bucket.
Okay. Can you give me a good reason to believe in a God?
And it's so.
Hey, Khalif. I'm not here for preaching time. Khalif, I'm not here for preaching time. Can you give me a good reason to believe in your God?
If you said a good reason to believe in God, that's going to be preaching regardless. It's talking about God.
No, I don't want a sermon. I don't want a sermon. I do not want a sermon. I want you to give me a good reason to believe in your God.
Even the conversation I was just talking about, there are flood stories from around the world that the Bible talks about.
Irrelevant. That doesn't make it true.
And it does make it true if you have.
No, it doesn't.
If you have back in the day when you're talking about, like before history even started, but when people were just spreading tales through words, when history just started, they're all talking about the same account from thousands and hundreds of thousands of miles away from each other. There's no way for them to communicate with each other.
No, they're not talking about the same thing. Hey, Khalif, here's a problem. According to the Noah's flood, it was some global thing, right?
Yeah.
It's not what happened in the Chinese flood.
It was global.
No, it wasn't.
I just pulled it up when y'all were talking about it. It said right here.
Yeah, so the story of the Great Flood plays a dramatic role in Chinese mythology. In various versions, present a number of examples of a flood myth motif around the world. Flood narratives in Chinese mythology share certain common features, despite somewhat lacking in internal consistency, and as well as incorporating various magical transformation and divine or semi-divine intervention like Nuwa. For example, the flood usually results from natural causes rather than universal punishment for sin. Another distinct motif of the myth of the Great Flood of China is an emphasis on heroic and praiseworthy efforts to mitigate a disaster. Flooding is alleviated by constructing dikes and dams, digging canals, widening or deepening existing channels, and teaching these skills to others. So this is completely different from Noah's flood. Noah's flood had hold on, listen. Noah's flood had two people on an ark. I'm sorry, not two people. Had two. Listen, Noah's ark had two of every animal, etc., and it was because God wanted to punish humanity, etc. The Chinese flood doesn't say that. So when you say that these all share common themes, you're just wrong.
No, I'm not, because if
okay,
you go
so where in Noah's flood? So where in Noah's flood does it say that they were constructing canals and dams in order to stop the flood from happening?
You don't have to have the exact. You're not going to have the exact same story. It's not.
But you just said they had the same theme. They don't.
Story. I said they have things that are in common that pulls them together. You're not going to have.
All right, but this has nothing in common with Noah's flood.
Yes, it does. It was a world-ending flood.
The Chinese flood. The Chinese flood has. Hold on. The Chinese flood, from what I just read, has internal inconsistencies with each other. Some are global. Some are. Hold on. Listen. Some are global. Some are local. Some are heroic. Some are not. So it doesn't share the same thing with Noah.
That's how history works. People, you ever play telephone? When you tell someone one thing, it changes over time.
That shows a problem with your
away from each other. Yeah. If you're 1,000 miles away from each other and thousands of years pass, people are not going to tell the same story. But it's amazing that they're telling a similar story in general.
Understood. Okay. Yeah, I understand. No, hold on. Listen.
History.
So Khalif, two problems. Number one, you said that you already brought up the issue with the telephone, right? So if you have an issue with telephone, that means that the Noah's flood myth also has to be unreliable because of the game of telephone, as you just brought up. The second problem is that I literally just looked this up, and no, the Chinese flood myth was centered on the Yellow River, on the hero Yu the Great. It wasn't considered global by ancient Chinese. Literally just looked that up.
I just looked.
So hold on, Khalif.
Let me read.
No, hold on. I'm reading it right now.
Don't let no points get so. You never let anybody get a point across.
I'm gonna let you get a point across, but I literally pulled this up, right? I put, was the Chinese flood myth global? No, the Chinese flood myth centered on the Yellow River. It wasn't considered global. Okay. So what are you gonna read?
You read your source. Can I read my source?
Go ahead.
The flood story of China. The Chinese flood myth centers on a legendary hero, Yu the Great, who tamed a catastrophic world-ending flood, the Great Flood, that inundated ancient China, particularly the Yellow River Basin, by organizing massive engineering.
That's a local flood.
That's a local flood.
That's
a local flood.
First thing I had got.
Hold on, Lords. I'm sorry, Lords. Can you give me a second? Hold on, Lords. So yeah, that's a local flood.
Yeah. I did had a different.
No, you didn't, bro. No, you didn't. It's a local flood,
right
bro.
Here. It's right here,
bro. The moment you type in
centers on the legendary hero Yu the Great, who tamed a catastrophic world-ending flood, the Great Flood. It just says a world-ending flood. You can't skip over him saying it's a world-ending flood. That's not local. It's a world-ending flood.
But how could it be a world-ending flood when, if you read the myth, the emperor at the time, who was Emperor Yao, appointed his descendants to control the flood, right?
Okay.
That didn't work. And some more descendants were appointed to control the flood. How could it be a world-ending flood if these people had descendants? Mind you, in the Chinese myth, the flood kept going and going and going until it was controlled. It was controlled by the people, right?
Just their perspective of what happened in their land.
No.
Also,
listen.
Everybody pause. So, Khalif, there are several problems here. Because you just said these are similar to Noah's flood, and it is not.
No, for one, you wanna stick on the Chinese part. For two, you're taking the Bible literally. Not all Christians, not all religious people take the Bible literally. That's a literalist standpoint. A literal
Right?
standpoint
But some of
says,
them do, though,
okay,
right?
they can be wrong.
But so Khalif, so I'm sorry, I'll pause from real quick. So Khalif, if we're not gonna be taking this literally, why the hell are we talking about the flood?
Because if I just said they have the Bible attests to the flood, and it across time, across periods, these people all attest to the same story. If you take the Gilgamesh, all you need is the two. All you need is the two.
Khalif,
all
you have a problem.
Is the Gilgamesh
again,
and
you have a problem. But Khalif, again, you still have a problem. Yes, you do still have a problem. Number one, these stories happen at different times. Number two, they don't have the same theme at all.
Yes,
no, they don't. Hold on, Khalif, hold on, stop, Khalif, stop, please, bro, Khalif, stop, please, Khalif,
you just
stop,
don't
please. No, shut the fuck up. Stop, please.
Whoa,
what? It's my life. So so Khalif, the problem that you're having is that they're not happening at the same time. Okay, cool. You can yes, I am bald. You love my baldness? I'm sorry, I'm not the one for you, bro. I got a wife, bro. I'm not the one for you. I'm not the one
cheating on you.
I'm not the one for you.
I'm
not the one for you, bro. I'm sorry. If you want to go for some men, go ahead and download Grindr. Go ahead and download Grindr. You feel me? I'm sure there are plenty of men there who are there for you, but I'm not the one, bro. I'm sorry. Live your truth. Download Grindr, and I'm pretty sure you can find a lot of men on there who are willing,
like a female,
who are willing to.
I think your conclusion.
You look like Wakanda.
All right, so Khalif, the problem that you're having is that, like we said before, every single person that lived around a body of water had a flood myth. That doesn't make the flood myths actually true, because again, the Chinese one doesn't match up with the Noah's Ark one at all. And not only that, we have civilizations that were supposed to be living before, through, and after. So I'm talking about like through it. Like we have Chinese writings in the 2300 BCE talking about what's going on there, and none of them record a flood.
Okay.
So that's a problem for the flood story. Number two, you just said that not everybody takes it literally. Sure, we ain't gotta take the flood story literally. It was probably a mythological legend. But at the end of the day, if that's the case, if that's what you want to argue, if that's what you agree with, then there's no point of us arguing the flood. Just because the Bible says something doesn't make it true. The Bible also mentions giants. Other civilizations mention giants too. But we all know that the giants people that they were talking about were just really tall people. Doesn't make giants real.
Can I get the point across about the Gilgamesh?
No, bro. Let's move on to something else. The flood didn't happen.
You just don't want to talk about
the
that.
flood didn't happen.
Point, you just want to
move on. The flood didn't happen, and you agree. Let's move on.
Can I say something? If you think it's mythology, did you wait a minute? Testify.
I didn't say it was mythology.
No. You just said, so you don't think, you said that you are taking the Bible literally. That is what you said, right?
I said,
do you think
guys.
The floods? Yes, exactly. So do you think the flood story was literal or figurative?
I don't believe it was literal. I believe it happened. A great flood happened.
Sir, do you know what
world.
Literal means? Do you know what literal means?
I just said I don't think it was literal. You didn't ask me if I thought it was literal. You asked me if I thought it happened.
No, I asked you if you thought it was literal. That's what I'm asking you. Do you think it's literal?
I don't believe everything is literal. But I don't think it's mythical means it never happened.
Sir, do you know what literal means, Khalif?
I don't believe.
So Khalif, if you think it happened, that means you think it's literal.
Literal. I just said I don't believe it. No, that what?
So was it global or was it not global?
A flood happened.
If you think it happened, that means you think it's literal.
I said a flood happened. The story comes from a true place. It did not happen how
you think it's literal.
Counts it back then.
That means you think it's literal.
Sure.
All right, so pause. Okay, so Khalif, you think that a flood happened, but it didn't happen globally.
No, it did not happen globally.
Okay, so that's
in the time that
so that's what I agree with. I think this was a local event that got exaggerated. I've been saying that from the beginning.
Yes.
Now you're bringing up the reason why that's the reason I brought up China and the fact that every single civilization that lived near a body of water has a flood myth. That's why I said that.
A point that I'm not arguing.
So why'd you start arguing about the flood then? Why'd you start arguing about it?
I said the tale of Gilgamesh gives the Bible credibility.
No, it don't.
Yes, it does.
No, it
because
don't.
The tale of Gilgamesh happened thousands of years separate from when the Bible was written, but they still both talk about Noah. They still tell about
Gilgamesh is not about Noah. Gilgamesh is about Gilgamesh.
Gilgamesh has the character of Noah in it.
No, it don't.
The character, yes, it does. It has
Gilgamesh
a man who built a boat.
Gilgamesh was descended from a god. Not Noah was descended from a god.
No, Noah is not Gilgamesh. Noah is a character that shows up in the tale of Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh meets Noah and talks to Noah.
Gilgamesh doesn't meet Noah. Gilgamesh. The epic of Gilgamesh about the flood, it's about Gilgamesh. It's not about Noah.
This is known.
Noah doesn't show up in Gilgamesh. All right, hold on. Khalif. If I look it up right now and it says it's wrong, what are you gonna say?
You're talking about Zion.
You give me a source.
Hold on, Khalif. If I look this up right now and I'm put, does Gilgamesh meet Noah?
He doesn't have the same name as Noah, but if you read it, it's the literally same character. The Bible gives you the cufix that the God tells Noah.
Hey, Khalif.
Okay, what did you say?
The name is not even the same. It's nowhere near the same.
Said that the name is not the same.
Hold on.
It doesn't have
Hold on.
to be the same.
Listen.
No, it doesn't sound like a.
Listen.
Can I give a good reason? Can I give a good reason?
No, it's not because it's not your turn yet. Be quiet.
But it's going back and forth with you guys.
So it's not your turn yet. No.
I feel like you're arguing not to come to truth. You're just arguing to
No, first you said it was Noah. You said it was like Noah.
No, I said he doesn't have the same name. They are the same person.
Mm-hmm. It's not the same. It's not the same. Who is Daniel?
I'm just asking her, is she a mod?
Yeah, she is a mod.
What are you reading? Share.
Oh yeah, I'm just reading it.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So Gilgamesh doesn't meet Noah. He meets a survivor named Utnapishtim. Who serves as the Mesopotamian parallel to biblical Noah.
Okay, parallel. Exactly.
Yeah, and he's telling his story to Gilgamesh on his quest for mortality.
Yes. And he was, I can't say his name. I'm not going to try to say his name.
Utnapishtim.
When historians, Utnapishtim. Historians, as a historian, you look at history. And anthropologists look at things. And when things match up to a certain point,
I'm sorry, Khalif. Khalif. We both agree that this was just a local thing that got exaggerated, right?
Sure.
So there's no point in talking about it anymore. My entire point. Hold on, Khalif. My entire point of bringing up all the other civilizations that have flood stories was to show that every single civilization that lives near a body of water has a flood story. That doesn't make the Bible true. That's all I was saying.
Okay.
I know that Noah could have. I know that Noah could have.
An ancient story.
It's an ancient. So Khalif.
So
it's a Khalif. It doesn't give the Bible credibility because the Bible claims things that are not true. The Bible claims that that this was a global thing, that all the animals on the earth were on a boat, and that all humanity then descended from Noah's family. That's untrue. What happened was a caveman was on a raft, things got flooded, and he thought that the world ended. That's what happened.
Okay.
All right. It was a local story that got exaggerated. So it doesn't give the Bible credibility because the Bible is claiming things that are not true. Even you tacitly agree that it's not true because you agree that it was a local event that got exaggerated when the Bible says it was global. And we know it is not.
My perspective, if I could tell you my perspective without you just interrupting me, my perspective is the Bible is a story that transcends time from the beginning of time and people trying to keep up history because before written history was happening. In a game of telephone, things change, things get exaggerated, but certain big events are expressed to descendants from our forefathers, got expressed to us, and pretty good that they kept up with enough stuff to even tell us a story of divinity.
All right, but Khalif, irrelevant.
The fact that there are multiple civilizations, and the first civilization ever, Mesopotamian civilization, the first civilization.
Khalif, irrelevant. We both agree that this is not something that was global. Irrelevant.
And how could it be before written history when we have texts that are centuries older than the Bible? How could it be before history was written when we have texts that are centuries older than the Bible? The Epic of Gilgamesh being one, the Code of Hammurabi being another, the 42 Laws of Ma'at. We have things that are written way before the Bible.
So what's a good reason to believe in God? Because Noah's Ark doesn't tell me anything.
You keep muting me. I'm thinking I'm talking. The Bible was manuscript before it was.
I know, but you can't listen. You can't keep droning on, right? You just keep. Can you succinctly tell us your points or no?
If you let me talk and stop muting me and let me get to a point without interrupting.
We need you to land the plane, bro.
Okay, well, hurry up. Do it.
The Bible was manuscripts before it was a book. It goes before all that y'all are talking about. It goes before written history. It was word of mouth. Those stories.
We have texts that are older. You're lying. We have texts that are older than the Bible. We do. We have texts that are older than the Bible. How? Let me ask you a question. How could the Bible get the flood story from the Epic of Gilgamesh if it's older than the Epic of Gilgamesh?
I didn't say get it from the Epic of Gilgamesh. They have the same story from different parts of the world. The Bible was manuscripts and word of mouth before it was in a book.
What do you think manuscripts mean?
Older than the Bible.
Manuscripts,
what do you think the word manuscript
means? Pieces of paper that were scrolls that are cut up that we put together.
No, manuscript just means it wasn't like an original text. It was like a written down text. That's all.
Yeah, exactly.
So like when you say the Bible was manuscripts, every book had a manuscript first.
But
because it's not your turn.
I'm just saying that it's older than that. It's not a book.
But it's not that guy turn also, right?
Yeah. He's a mod. That's why I let him talk.
Atheist.
Oh my God, am I a mod?
Because you're an atheist.
All right, so testify. I'm going to need you to be quiet for a second while the people speak.
You guys born with the.
Yeah.
Why can't people just be adults, bro? All right, so Khalif. Yeah. None of this shows that I have a good reason to believe in the Bible at all. Because just because the Bible has a story about a flood, and then we know through ancient history that another person had a story about a flood. What does that show us? That shows nothing.
It gives credibility the same way that there are African stories from way back that talks about in the beginning there was this and that. African stories that go way back that have just been passed on word of mouth. That gives credibility to the Bible. If everybody's saying the same thing around the world, you don't think to like, oh, let me listen to what everybody is saying. Let me not just think that, oh, I'm so modern, I'm so smart that I know what's going on. Science. Yeah.
Okay. So Khalif. Let me ask you a question. Do you believe in dragons?
No.
Every single civilization had a story of dragons, though.
Okay.
So, according to your argument, we should believe in dragons because every civilization
doesn't have a story about dragons.
Christ Almighty. All right, let's not say civilization. Let's say cultures. Let's say cultures. Every single culture had a story of dragons. So, according to your argument. According to your logic, we should believe in dragons because every culture had a story of dragons.
No, because they're not significant enough. They're not big enough.
My culture ain't.
There's a lot of cultures that don't have stories about dragons.
You are a liar. My culture
People don't go around talking and bigging it up as big as all of these stories that we have.
So what? They all had stories of dragons.
You're saying that. I just don't agree. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. All right, man. Let's go ahead and move on. All right, Khalif. I appreciate you being here.
But let me ask you a question.
I'm sorry, Lord. Sorry, dropped him. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, Lord. So I knew you wanted to ask him a question. Hey, Terry, if you want to come back up, go ahead and come back up because
none of those cultures and civilizations, African or not, could prove that their God existed. They have no evidence that their gods existed either, right? It doesn't matter if they're African or not. What does that mean? They have no evidence that these gods existed either.
Exactly. All right, Daniel, thank you for coming back up. It is your time to shine. I don't know how you got dropped because I didn't drop you. You must have swiped out for a while, and that's why I dropped you. That happens a lot. All right, so Daniel, it's your time to shine. Are you at least 18, and can you give us a good reason to believe in a God?
Yeah, I would say from a cultural standpoint, it's existence. There's no causality that happens outside of the bounds of existence. So by definition, it'll be a power, a ruler, and a judge, which is God.
Go what?
What did he just say?
You ain't hear me?
No, none of it made sense.
Can you repeat it?
Okay, cool. When you deal with God, especially when you deal with the description of Yahweh, it means the existing. So it's existence that they're explaining because there is no causality that happens outside of the bounds of existence. So by definition, it would be a ruler, power, judge, which by definition or by explanation is God.
Okay, so do you have
what?
Wait, do you have
Man, I wish I
evidence of this? Do you have evidence of this ruler power God?
Sounds like he's saying the evidence is just in the nature of the universe and must exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like what he's saying. Like, what bro, what? Like, I'm like, this was really word salad. I honestly, I have
What's
no
wrong
clue
with
what you're
what I
saying.
said? Like, what part of it don't y'all understand?
All of it. What the hell are you saying, bro? You said that the existence, therefore
What
ruler.
part of it don't y'all understand?
All of it. You said the existence of existence, then the Bible ruler. What? I have no idea what you just said, bro. You might as well should have said Furbo Gorbro. Like, what are you saying? Because there must be a ruler? Like, is that what you're really saying?
Sounds like it.
Yeah, Daniel, what are you saying? Quick commercial break, y'all. We're at 9.2K likes, 96 people
that
in
ain't
here.
what I said at all.
All right, y'all. The quick commercial break. We have 9.2K likes, 95 people in here. I appreciate everybody being up here. Y'all remember to follow Lords, follow Jovan. They give great lives and great advice, and not I said advice and great arguments as well. Lords hasn't been live yet, but we're gonna convince her to go live soon enough. Jovan, follow him on his YouTube. Does a great job at debunking trans or I should say transphobic arguments and everything like that. So definitely follow Jovan. Definitely follow Lords. We're going to be up here until about the next 30 minutes, all right? And I appreciate you all. All right, Daniel, I'm really confused, bro. What are you saying? You can you explain that one more time and try not to be word salady? Because all I heard was because of existence, there must be a ruler, and that ruler is God. That makes no sense at all to me.
No, I never said because of existence. I said when you look at the definitions of things, just like the word Yahweh means the existing. So what they're talking about is existence. And by definition, God is ruler, power, judge. And since there's no causality that happens outside of the bounds of existence, that's what they're talking about.
You said God was ruler. You said he was what? Ruler, what? Say it again.
Ruler, power, judge. So you're saying that just because the word Yahweh exists, therefore God?
That's what the word God means. Ruler, power, judge.
Okay, I didn't hear you say existence, though. I didn't hear you say it means ruler, power, judge, existence. I didn't hear that. I didn't hear the existence part. It means ruler, power, judge. What does that have to do with existence?
Yeah, Yahweh means the existing. So when they keep naming the description of Yahweh as their God.
Yeah, but you just said it means ruler, power, judge. Does it mean both?
Yeah, this is really
What I
weird.
just said is that God means ruler, power, judge, but Yahweh means the existing. These are description words that they use, and that's how the Hebrew language works.
All right, but Daniel, so what? Yeah, the word Yahweh could mean that. So,
am I breaking up or something?
Yeah, Daniel, listen to what I'm saying. Yeah,
you do have bars, so
yeah, he has bars. So, Daniel, yeah, so the word Yahweh could mean that, right? But so what? We're gonna go come together and pray for Daniel's Wi-Fi, y'all.
Yeah, it means the existing.
So what?
This has to be a bit, right?
Yeah,
I got high speed. I got
like
dog. You got to get better Wi-Fi. Like this is crazy.
Yeah. We're gonna come together and pray for your Wi-Fi, bro.
What's good? My Wi-Fi wasn't messing up when y'all kept telling me to go on mute.
No, it actually was.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't mute you. So
you can see your bars. They're right there. It was one bar.
You can see it. Can you see your bars?
Bars.
I said, hey, yo. I'm sorry. I love battle rap. I love battle rap, y'all. I'm sorry. All right. So Daniel, yes.
All right, can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. All right. So you said Yahweh means the existing. So what? Who cares?
Yes, it means the existing. So when they calling Yahweh their God, they're calling existence their ruler, power, and judge. Why? Because there's no causality that happens outside of its bounds.
Wouldn't the existing mean that he just exists? If they call him the existing,
no, it's not.
Wouldn't that mean he
no,
just
it's not.
exists?
He exists.
Right? But wouldn't that mean whatever it is exists?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean
no,
that
that wouldn't mean that.
What does it mean when you say the existing?
They're giving credit to existence.
No, when you say the existing, that's just the state of existing. The state of being here, right?
Is God a being?
Daniel? No, that's not what the description of Yahweh means. It means the existing. That doesn't mean it's talking about something in the bounds of existence. It's talking
Daniel,
about existence
is
itself.
God a being? Like is Yahweh a being?
No, he's not, but he's described as one so we can understand.
You know, Yahweh is a language, bro. It's still a language.
Hold on, King. All right, this is so incoherent, bro. I'm so damn confused, Daniel. How does this give us a good reason to believe in a God, bro? Oh, shout out to Ty. How's it going, Ty? Ty's in the comments. How's it going, Ty? So how?
Because God is just a title. Like it's just a title for something that we exist in, something that we live in the bounds in it. So since it's saying no causality happens outside of its bounds, to us, we're identified as God.
How do you know that we live inside of the existence? How do you know that we live inside of this God?
Wait, we live inside of God, so all of us is God's sperm.
I didn't say we live in.
What part of God do we live in, Daniel? Do we live in his stomach or we live in his balls? Which part?
I live in the balls for sure.
No, you said we live inside of this thing. That's what you said, right? Or maybe I got it wrong.
I'm talking about when I say in the bounds of. Oh my God.
Let me ask you a question. If I tell you I live in the bounds of Dallas, what does that mean? I live in Dallas.
So we live inside of God. So are we in the ass or are we in the balls, bro? Which part are we in? We might be in the ass because the way this world is going right now. Yeah, we might be.
No, because you live inside the bounds of. Hold on. Why are so many people talking when I go there?
I'm sorry about that. All right, King, go ahead and stay on mute for me, please. It's Daniel's turn. Go ahead.
We also live under the bounds of a judicial system. That don't mean you live in it.
We definitely live in the bounds of a judicial system.
First of all, I am bound by those laws. I do.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you physically live in it.
Yes, and I don't physically live in God. So is that the reason for me to believe in him? So what are we doing exactly?
So yeah,
I never said you did. That's a comment that you made on your.
But you're giving us that. No, do you know what we're asking you?
In it, like
we're asking you what is the reason, sir.
All right, so pause. So Daniel, I'm gonna need you to be quiet for a second. Go ahead.
We're asking you what is the reason for us to believe in God. That is the question. And so you gave us this bounds of existence thing.
Like everybody.
Wait, let me finish. Can you let me finish? You giving us this bounds of existence thing, right? How is that a reason for me to believe in God? Why is that a reason for me to believe in God?
I wasn't given a bounds of existence thing. I was just letting you know what people in the scriptures call God. So
okay, so what is the reason for us to believe in God?
Can you just let me finish?
No, sir. I want you to I want you to give me the reason that we should believe in God.
Let me finish.
All right, so Daniel, listen, we're gonna let you finish, right? But we actually need a reason to believe in a God. You just keep saying the bounds of existence. We have no idea what the hell you're talking about, bro. We all live in the bounds of existence. We understand that. We all understand that we live in the bounds of existence. Our question is, why should we believe in a God? That's our question.
That's not all I'm saying. I'm explaining what their perspective of God was.
Irrelevant. We don't care. We don't care. What is a good reason to believe in a? So Daniel. Listen, we don't care what the ancient Israelites thinks. We're talking about what you think. Give us a good reason to believe in a God from you.
I'm getting there, but you won't let me.
Don't preamble, bro. Just say it.
Because if you believe in existence, you believe in God. Because there's no causality outside its bounds. So by definition,
no, is that a reason for us to believe in God? What's the reason?
Because it exists. It's existence.
So existence because he exists. And
no, so it's when existence.
Okay, God is the concept of existence. So when you say that, I'm going to ask you, give me evidence that this thing exists. Give me evidence.
That's why I was going.
Hold on. So
that's
Daniel,
why I was giving what he said.
No, you didn't give anything. You just said that Yahweh, the ancient word Yahweh means existence. That doesn't mean that God exists. But like your argument is that because existence is a thing, because we exist, therefore God exists. You don't see the leap of logic there. I could say the same thing, right? Because I could say because we exist. I could say no. You said because existence. That's what you said. So if because we exist, therefore
I didn't
God.
Say because existence.
So what are you saying?
I said God is existence. I didn't say because we exist.
So all right. So if you said all right. You said God is existence. All right. So because we exist, because we're in existence, right? So because we exist, therefore God. You don't see how silly that is? I could also said because we exist, therefore Nancy the spider or Olodumare or Papa Legba, the crossroads.
Okay, so let me.
That's silly.
So let me ask you: Is there any causality outside of the bounds of existence?
We don't know. Because nothingness can't be a thing, right? Something always has to exist. There's no such thing as nothing.
So by definition, existence is the ultimate ruler, power, and judge of all things.
What do you mean ruler? What do you mean ruler, power, judge? What does that mean?
That's what God means.
Ruler, power, existence judge. Doesn't have a will.
That's what it means.
All right, Daniel. I want Jovan to repeat what he said. Hold on, Daniel. Listen, bro. I just need Jovan to repeat what he said in order for you to respond to that. Go ahead, Jovan. What would you say again?
Existence does not have a will.
So explain natural selection.
You fucking with us right now, bro?
Natural selection is by the very nature, like random.
Exactly.
You playing with us right now, Daniel? Like you trolling him, bro?
What is a nature?
Holy shit.
Wait a second. What is a nature? Is it spontaneous?
All right. So, what's that name? Jans. Jans, how's it going, Jans? Are you at least 18? And can you give us a good reason to believe in a God?
You need to believe in God because you will have an answer, like you will have ultimate purpose and have a meaningful answer to why are we living here, and ultimate purpose after death.
Jans, are you trolling me right now, Jans?
No, not really. I'm not native English speaker, so
okay. So you said that we need to have a had to have a purpose, right? Well, how come I just come up with my own purpose? I don't need to believe in a God for me to have a purpose.
Yeah, we can make our self purpose, but it's not the ultimate purpose. Like,
how do you know there is an ultimate purpose?
Yeah, because my God is an all-loving God.
I understand that you believe that. I'm asking, how do you know that we have an ultimate purpose? I understand that you believe that. That's fine. You can believe that.
Yeah. I'm just we just need to ground because you stop looking for answers, like, but for me I need to have like an X, like a variable to know something that I don't know, right? So I'm grounding it that my God is love, so that and this answers by the Trinity.
Okay, so Jens, this all sounds nice and well, right? That you believe in a God who is love and everything like that. But you also said a good reason for me to believe in a God is because we can't have purpose without it. But I can have purpose without it. I don't believe in a God, and I think my purpose is to help out my community. One of the reasons I chose to be a therapist is because I went through a time in my life where I had friends of mine who passed away. It was very, very traumatic. I witnessed a murder. It was very, very traumatic, and I had nobody to speak to. So the reason why I decided to become a therapist is because I want to give that to other people. Whenever I go out into to like participate or volunteer in low income areas, a lot of these young kids tell me about the horrible things that they've been through and have no one to talk to. I have friends who've been through horrible things, nobody to talk to, and they talk to me, right? So that's the reason I chose to become a therapist. So that's my purpose in life. I decided all that without believing in a God.
Right, correct. But what I'm saying is like I mean the existence itself. Why are we here in the first place? And also you cannot have a purpose after death for an atheist.
What God do you believe in, Jason's?
The Trinity God. So
the what?
for me, this is
the
God.
Trinity God.
Yeah.
Father, Son, Holy Ghost.
Oh Lord. Okay.
Yeah, right, correct. Because if you believe in a God that isn't a Trinity, for me this is the only God that makes sense, because
wait, that God makes sense to you?
God.
The Trinity isn't even backed up in any holy scripture.
Because,
the Trinity is wholly a later church creation.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is why I believe it, because if you only believe in if there's no a relationship in the beginning, there would be no love. I mean,
huh?
Why would God create it? Because the Trinity is the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, right? So
yes, but the Trinity isn't backed up by any
and
scripture.
the Father
Like
loves
wait,
the
Jason's, there's no scripture that backs up the Trinity's existence.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just grounding it with this variable that makes sense. I mean, I'm not really a Bible reader, but I
that's obvious.
Then how do you believe in the Trinity?
I'm answering it by my own by reasoning only.
What?
I mean,
reasoning?
a logical reasoning.
Huh?
Okay, we are very confused, Jason. We are very confused.
Okay, let me explain. So, why it makes sense to me because there should be a relationship in order to have love, right? So,
okay,
if a God that isn't a Trinity, there is no relationship there because there is nothing in the first place. So, why would that be a loving God if there is no relationship to begin with? So this purpose is
What makes you believe the God is wait, what makes you believe God is a loving? Like if like let's say God is real, what leads you to believe that they're loving?
Yeah, because the why he created us because he is an overflowing by this love. But so where would that go? I mean, what is the most meaningful reason in order for that overflowing love? Like, what will he do?
Homie,
Right?
this is
Like,
incoherent.
can he create like something?
This is not there's no argument here.
No. I mean,
When you okay, hold on.
That answers the creation.
Jason's. When you think of your God, what divine text or holy book do you use to understand the things your God either wants you to do, believes in, has done? What do you use for that?
Actually, my country is majority of us are Catholic. So even though I don't read the Bible that much, I am surrounded by it. I almost hear like in school and Sunday masses like that. So
So
the
it's the
Bible.
Bible.
So yeah.
Okay. The Bible very explicitly contradicts all thoughts of the Trinity.
Okay.
All right.
What would it be?
Jason's, we're gonna have to go ahead and drop you, my friend, because you got the Panther Claw. Jesus Christ. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
I thought we had just started moving that conversation too.
God, my God. I have no idea where that was going. God, my goodness Christ. All right, King, it is your time to shine, King. Are you at least 18? And can you give us a good reason to believe in a God?
Yeah, I'm over 18 for sure. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you give us a good reason to believe in a God?
So I'm with the creation side of things. Like all things in existence doesn't come from nothing, in a sense. Do I think of the all-loving God? No, not in that sense at all. I do think he can love, but it's not at all in the idea that I see God.
So you're
like he just create. I believe so. It's just creation, and then from there on, all of it takes its place, natural place. But from there, responsibilities are upon us for being political, I would say, imaginative to come up with UFOs and space science. I think there's biblical text. Yeah, space science, like imaginary thoughts, theoretics. There's the word. Theoretics, we're capable of doing that as a creation, which makes us come up with the idea of a God. But I don't think cavemen had the tools to do what satellites could do, which is like see things in existence and not see a God. But I do think whatever's out there is also a part of creation. So it just makes him more widespread on the table of blueprints.
Okay. When you say I'm confused as well. So when you say creation, that kind of implies that existence is a deliberate cause, right? So are you saying that we were put here, or the universe was started deliberately by an agent?
Not by an agent. Because I have no proof of the creator at this point besides being a part of creation myself. You know what I mean?
Right, but you're saying that we are creation. How do we show that we're a creation in of itself? How come we're just not a natural consequence of physics?
We are creation in of itself, but of our own parents in that sense. But as far as the mind sense, like without, you're talking about like after death and before life. that is unexperienced at this point to answer. You know what I mean?
I have no idea what that means, bro.
But we are creation in of itself, having genealogy within parents, which is why I don't believe in the Christian Bible, because, I mean, I just posted this morning about the Canaanites. Nobody speaks the Canaanite language, which was right after Noah. Like even Abraham, that word Yahweh is a language. It's a language. It's not just a name.
Yeah,
it's a language that, it's something that was invented later on. I mean, people scream the name Yahweh, but I'm like, if you learn timelines, I just posted about Baal and all those gods, but polytheism was way before other things. But those are also theoretics. Those are also theoretics too.
So how does this give us a good reason to believe in a God then?
Say reason. I agree with you on the reason. You can come up with your own far as self reason, but everybody has a different idea. I mean, besides being trapped on Earth. You know what I mean? Outside of that.
Does anybody have anything for him? Because I'm not sure where to go with this. Lawrence, Jovan?
I'm just why do you feel that the universe had to have had a creator?
As far as like it expanding, that answer comes from it also being at one point a small piece of creation in itself before its expansion. If we're talking about the universe.
Even if it's the Big Bang is real and there was an expansion of energy, like why does the universe itself had to have been created? Why couldn't it have just always existed?
I would only answer that as far as like what part of space do we play a part in? Like what part does Earth in the timeline of space? Other than that, we can only start from Earth, which doesn't really answer much of what else is going on out there. You know what I mean?
Huh?
Bro, what?
You're asking me like as far as believing in a God, that can mean God that makes aliens, other things outside of the galaxy. Like beyond space is what you're asking. God, the creator of all things.
Big dog.
My nigga, what?
This is incoherent, dude.
This is so incoherent.
Okay. When we talk about the universe, why couldn't it be the case that the universe just constantly expands and contracts and there is no creator to it? It's just always been a constant.
That's what I'm saying. To expand, you have to start at one point. But at what point, like who started the expansion? Like you're saying it expanded.
Not necessarily.
Well, it's like a spring. A spring is closed in.
No, but
you're speaking about
something that has always existed can expand.
Inertia?
No, I'm just saying that something that has always existed can expand.
Yeah, that's inertia. When something is upon its motion, it continues in that motion. But there's a logical reason why that word exists, and something had to put it in motion. Outside of, I have no idea what else isn't like that. Everything they say has a beginning, but inertia in itself is what you're talking about.
Oh, okay, that's not what I'm talking about. But I mean, I guess.
All right, so you're saying because the universe is expanding, someone had to start the expansion. But what I'm saying is that, well, number one, what Jovan said, it could always just be expanding and contracting, and we have no idea why, or it's always been that way. Or number two, it could be a natural process that we simply don't understand yet. Why does it have to be a who?
Who? I can't say like it did it on its own. Like I guess you could just say the universe did it on its own, but that will make you answer the question from previously that you're living in it. If it's doing it on its own, then you're living in it. Like you're a part of its creation of itself. Which goes back to I mean, I don't want to say I'm a God. I'm not a believer that I am a God. Like I think I'm a part of its creation, which goes back to you saying universe is your God because you're a part of the universe is expanding upon itself. So you're answering that God is the universe which you come from that started its own expansion.
No. Okay, I think you misunderstand how the Big Bang works. When a lot of energy gets compacted really, really tightly, it will expand on its own because the energy is compacted super, super tight.
Mm-hmm.
So when the universe hits a tipping point, that it then collapses in on itself, When all that energy gets super dense, it will then just shoot out again.
So this is like a marble hitting a trampoline, but no matter what, the same weight that it goes downward makes it go up the same height that it needs to go back down. But you have no beginning on who drops the ball or how tight somebody pulled the string down.
Okay. So you're saying because something had to have been the cause, you're saying that's God. Well, what caused God?
I wouldn't think he has a cause if he's all powerful, unless
Okay,
you're on.
so wait,
but the thing of my relationship, part of that creator.
This is my issue. You're saying the universe can't exist without cause, but God can exist without cause. Just take the same properties you put on God and place it on the universe.
That's what I did earlier, but that was the answer of our creation of us being coming from the expansion. But that would make God the universe, or universe the God.
And am I the only one here who's kind of confused, bro? I'm very lost, bro.
It just seems like we're okay. It seems like we can't form like a function, a logically consistent belief system surrounding God, and it's just like, I don't know, he could be there, maybe he's there.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Which, if that's the case, like, that's not a good reason to believe.
But here's my thing.
But also,
after the creation, the relationship part of the answer changes the ideal of where and what. It's more like after he created us, why? I can't answer if he cares. That's why I said I just believe in a God of creation.
But that's what we're asking you. How do you know that God created anything? How do you know this? Like, you believe in this God, but how do you know that he did anything?
I just think he created it being that bored. Like, if you have that much power, you can just do it. But having a relationship with it and letting it departure itself
is. He has that much power. Where do you get
what I'm saying is something to move in a pattern of nature without all of space, even on Earth itself.
No, listen to what I'm saying. But listen to what I'm saying. How do you know that God has any of this power that you're talking about?
Well, that's what I'm calling something that caused this, all of this.
All right.
You can call it the big blame.
Right. So the question then becomes, King, how do you know that it was something with a will or agency and not simply a natural process that we don't understand yet?
That is true. I mean, you could say, like, that's why I call it creator at this point. But I'm skipping past, I guess, what you want to say, like titles, like the polytheistic gods, like you're saying Zeus and all them. Like, there's one above them, but you're saying, is there a multiple deity up there, or is it one person? Don't know.
All right. So where exactly are we with this? Because I think we're kind of at the end here, because this doesn't really give us a good reason. You're simply saying because the universe exists, therefore something had to cause it. Yeah, sure, but doesn't necessarily have to be something with agency, right?
No, not agency.
I'm still on the camp of if God can be a constant, the universe can be a constant.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
All right. So, King, appreciate you being up. All right. So I got to move on, and it's gonna be the last two for the night, y'all, because I promised my wife by around 9 o'clock, and she's gonna beat my ass if I don't do that. I'm sorry. I'm playing. I'm not in an abusive relationship, y'all. So I'm not an abusive one. But all right, y'all. So just for a quick commercial break, I do appreciate you all being up. Shout out to Lawrence and Jovan for being great guests. Yeah, I remember to follow Jovan. Great. He has great debates, debunks conservative talking points all the time. Appreciate him. Y'all make sure to follow Lawrence. Lawrence has great arguments all the time. Appreciate her as well. We're at 22K likes. Let's try to get to 25 by the end of. We talked to, I think, I'm sorry, what's your name? Just Diva? Oh, Just the Net. I like the name, Just the Net. All right, Net. How's it going, Net? We're gonna get to 25K likes, y'all. By the time we talk to Just the Net. Remember, y'all, the Black Atheist Skeptics and Humanists Cookout is going down next year in June. I hope to see you all out there, and I will be going live about it before the year's end, so we can get some more information. I do appreciate y'all. All right, Just the Net. Are you at least 18, and can you give us a good reason to believe in a God? Last one, maybe. Last one. I promise. Last one. Ned, are you there? We can't hear you if you are.
You're muted.
Yeah, you're muted. There you go.
My apologies. Okay, I'm going to piggyback off of what King said. If you can work with me, I'm going to try to be clear and not using all the difficult words. I want to try to make this like a really ABC so we can understand a little bit. But science does prove God, number one. I think the problem has been terminology and language. Okay, because if we look at what God means, the actual true meaning of God, it is source, the source of, right? But what the confusion is that everybody has their own understanding of who they choose to be source or what they're worshiping or what that God is. So that can become very confusing. But the God I'm talking about is the actual source, meaning the I am that was presented biblically.
Shout out to the TBV raid. Shout out to the TBV raid. Shout out, y'all.
That was presented with to Moses. I am that I am, meaning the source of all, right? And then we're talking about where it translated eventually. Science. There's just two different languages. So when you're talking about two different languages saying the same thing, in the science world, the way they're proving the agent, they're proving the agent from the beginning of energy, meaning energy is the start of everything and it forms. Okay, so if that's the start of creation, then they're basically saying that's the I am that I am, right?
All right. So Justin, we just gotta go ahead and get something clear. So you said that science basically proves God because the universe, quote unquote, had a beginning. Is that what you're trying to say?
Correct.
Okay. So the thing is, when it comes to the Big Bang, right? All it shows was an expansion of space-time. We're not sure if it's the beginning of all the cosmos because space was obviously a thing, right? During that time, the universe was in a hot, dense state. So it doesn't really show that, there was some sort of agent or mind that started pushing in place. All we know is that it was a hot, dense state and the universe expanded. We don't know why or what could have caused it. People are working on it now because our concept of physics kind of breaks down, but that doesn't necessarily mean that a God exists.
Well, let's look at universal law, because the universal law says that something has to come from something. There's always a cause to the effect.
Energy, matter comes from energy.
Right, exactly. So energy is God, is basically what I'm explaining, because the energy is the invisible, right? The Bible explains spirit being the invisible, right? It's just two different languages. And that's what people.
But how do you show that because energy is just a property of a system. It's not really some ethereal thing that people know about.
Energy is intelligent because
no,
guess
it's not.
what?
Energy doesn't have a will.
Energy doesn't have a will. It's not intelligent.
So let's go back to universal law.
Like for example, so just you see how I circled this water, like that. Does the water moving around in the water bottle? That's energy, but there's no intelligence behind that. It's just moving.
It depends on how much energy you give it, because everything is energy. So reality is that universal law says that if you can't. Energy cannot, like whatever is built, it has to give it, right? I can't give you what I don't have, right? That's the law. That's universal law. I cannot give you what I don't have. Everything that is formed has to have whatever it came from, it has to have it. So energy, if everything is from energy, it depends on how much energy it was given. Does that make sense?
No, because energy is just a property of a system. It's not anything intelligible. It doesn't have a will. It's just a property of a system. That's the base of everything. And listen, when you read it biblically, it says God says, I am omnipresent. What is omnipresent? Yeah, but so what? I know that we understand that the Bible makes claims of a God being omnipresent, but that doesn't mean that God is energy, or that energy is God, or that a God even exists. Like, yeah, the Bible can say that, but the Bible also says that the sky is a firmament, and we know that's not true. So here's the thing. What I'm showing you is the comparison of when people are reading the Bible and when science is proving things, it's pretty much in line. So what I'm saying is, for example,
science has disproved a lot inside the Bible,
but it has not. A whole lot. It has not. It disproved. It literally disproves the first story of Adam and Eve. Like, that was the first humans. Like, okay. Let me show you Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve, right? It started off of one soul being, right?
Did it?
Did Adam and Eve start off in the Bible? It shows that it started from one soul being, correct?
No, apparently Adam was the first man. Apparently,
and then because there's two different, Adam, right?
There's two different stories for Adam and Eve.
What I'm saying is in the Bible. Let's just talk about what the Bible says. It came from one soul being, correct?
What
the
came
Bible
from one soul
says that Eve, are you saying that Eve came from Adam?
Correct. That it came from the one. So it started off with one soul being, and Eve came from Adam, correct?
Okay.
Oh, so that's the claim. Yeah.
That's what the Bible says.
Okay. So the thing is that, like, people ask why, and what I started to understand was that the Bible is literally a map of the evolution of humanity. People look at the bits and pieces of how of all the different stuff that happens, but they're not looking at the evolution of how humanity evolves.
It can't be
so
right.
Right. I'm going to show you, though, because I'm going to show you how it does cause and effect. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Hold on, just a minute, because I'm getting confused here, because you said that Adam and Eve, and then Eve came from Adam, and that shows the evolution of humanity. But when we look into how humanity evolved, that's incorrect.
I'm going to show you.
Because
all
the
Bible
humans
also says we have different numbers of ribs, and science has proven that's not true.
That's not true. Exactly. So that's one problem. But the second problem is that if Eve came from Adam, we would expect all fetuses to be male first, but they're not. All fetuses are female first, which means that the Bible got something wrong there. We couldn't have all came from a man. We had to have had all come from a woman first.
So listen, the original the original writings in the Bible. This is the problem, because everybody looks at the ribs like it came from Adam's rib, but that is not what the original Bible is stating. The original Bible states that it came from Adam's side. So it really is stating that that's why you get soulmate. See, the thing about it is translation. This has been the problem. Translation and vocabulary has been the problem. So my whole point is just looking at the overall. So if you're talking about one soul being split into two, see, the thing is God is all knowing, meaning the spirit is all knowing, not all understanding. So the first fracture in the soul being was the soul was split in two. When the soul is split in two, then now you have started imbalance. When you start imbalance, now you start confusion. When you start confusion, now you have opened up.
Wait, back up. How does this show anything about evolution? Because you're talking about souls and stuff like that, because there's nothing with
but also, Volcy, there were other people in the Bible.
There were.
Right? There were other people besides Adam and Eve, because where did Cain or Abel, whichever one, where did they get their wife from?
Yeah, exactly.
Into incest, technically, but also Adam has a second wife.
Lilith,
not
right?
Eve, but Lilith. Yeah.
Yeah, that too.
There were other people, right? There were people in the land of Nod.
So what I'm showing you is I'm not showing you that the Bible is just giving you stories to show you how humanity evolves. And a lot of times people are looking at the circumstances of this came first, this came first, this came first, this came first. But that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is at the very beginning, it shows you how God created the one being to split into two. And what I keep trying to show you is how that when you created separation, you created imbalance. When you create imbalance, now you're what you started doing is you're teaching. That's the first beginning of you teaching.
All right, so Danette, I'm sorry, Danette. I got to interrupt because we're really not getting anywhere. This is getting into preach mode. You're simply saying when you create two things, it creates imbalance, et cetera, et cetera. This doesn't show human evolution at all. Like it really doesn't. When you're saying, hold on,
evolution.
When you're talking about human evolution, what is it you're talking about? You're talking about us going from primates to modern anatomical humans, or what are you talking about?
Separate to create. That's my point. And because of the simple, you had one soul, but one soul can't create. You need two beings. Hold on,
Danette, stop, Danette. You need to show a soul actually exists first. You haven't shown that.
Also, there were other people besides Adam and Eve.
Yeah, there were other people.
Again, the Bible is just showing you how creation starts and how creation finishes. And it also goes by to what science is showing you about creation. That
it's not, because if you're talking about
science doesn't show that creation needs two. It just shows that sexually dimorphic species need two.
So
asexual species only need one.
Does science not show you that you need two people to create?
No, you don't.
Mammals do, because we produce sexually dimorphic. But there are tons of creatures that produce asexually, that produce with one.
But we're talking about humanity right now.
But if God created everything, then he didn't just create us.
Well, of course. But what I'm saying, what you're just saying, give you a good reason to believe in God, right? So I'm just talking about one aspect of what God does. But we already know that energy starts with everything.
Danette, here's a problem. You're simply making claims. You're simply saying that, you need a soul to do this, and you haven't shown that a soul exists yet. You're saying that energy is God. You haven't shown how that's the case yet. You're simply saying this is how the Bible shows how human evolution works. It doesn't at all. Yeah, I mean, so it's like, where are we kind of going with this? Because when you're talking about human evolution, are you talking about biological evolution? Oh, wait. Are you talking about biological evolution, or are you talking about like civilization, like evolution? Which one are you talking about?
Does God not mean the source to create?
I don't know what God means. It's up to you to describe that.
We created these words. So when we created the word God, what was the word God?
It was just a title. It was just a title. A title of
a title to mean what? It's
a title of a title meaning a being that has powers basically over humanity. That's really all it meant. It was a title.
I will give you the exact meaning of the word God. The word God means.
All right, but Danette, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. How do we show that a God actually exists?
Because
why should we believe in it?
God exists because that is what the word means. The word means to the source of creation.
Hold on, Danette. Just because I believe in, I accept the scientific method, but the scientific method does not show that a God exists.
Does science prove creation?
No.
Wait, before we get away from it, the original Hebrew El or Elohim literally means like strong one.
Yeah, that's all it means.
It doesn't mean source. It means strong one or powerful one.
When you say creation, what do you mean? When you say creation, what do you mean?
Part of the definition. That's not the entire definition.
Hold on, Danette. When you say creation, because we gotta get off soon. When you say creation, what exactly do you mean? Because people usually just mean like we were put here deliberately.
The source to create.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Meaning this is the foundation, the origin to create, the original.
Right, but you're using the same words. What does that mean?
What does what mean? You don't know what source
when you
means?
say this? No, when you say the source, what do you mean by the source? What
That's what source is. Every creation. That's a source.
You're just using the same words. You're not really explaining what it means. All right, hold on. When I ask you, when you say that all creation comes from the source.
No.
What I'm asking you is, what does that mean?
What I said. I said that's what sources the creation. That is the
source is the creation.
To the creation.
The source to the creation.
Do you not
but
know
when
what
you
the word
say that,
source
what
means?
I know what the word source means. I'm asking you, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by the source of creation? What does that mean?
So why are you
talking about where all creation came from?
What the source means if you know what the source means?
No, I'm not. You say the source. I know what the word source means, but you say the source. When you say the source, what do you mean by that?
No, what source is creation? That means what causes creation?
Right. So what causes creation, right? So you're saying that that's why I asked you, what do you mean by creation? Are you saying that we were put here? Hold on, listen. Where you put? Hold on, listen. When you say creation, are you claiming that we were put here deliberately by some agent?
Yes.
Okay. How do you know that's true?
Because science proved it by explaining.
But they didn't.
Okay. Did science not prove what sourced creation?
No, science has never proved a source of creation.
Science does not. So
that's like the largest question that we haven't been able to answer.
So science does not explain that creation comes from energy.
No.
Yes
science
or no?
can explain. Science has an ability to explain where matter comes from, because we can see the creation and dissolution of matter through things like particle acceleration and things like that.
Is that not the starting point of creation? Yes or no?
But when you say creation, do you mean creation of all things or just creation of us?
Period. Is matter not is energy not the starting point of creation?
No,
yes or no?
No, Danette, because I just asked you, when you say creation, you mean something put here deliberately, and we have not shown. Hold on, wait, hold on, listen. When I asked you, what do you mean by creation, and I asked you, do you mean we were put here deliberately? You said yes. Science has not shown we were put here deliberately. It has absolutely not shown that.
So is the universal law does it not state that it cannot give what it does not have?
What does that mean when you say that? What do you mean?
So intelligence, it cannot give intelligence if it doesn't have it.
The universe is not intelligent.
There's no intelligence in the universe.
How is the universe not intelligent, but we are?
If the universe was intelligent, there'd be way more uses. There'd be more Earths.
Okay.
Yeah, if the universe were, exactly what Jovan said. If the universe was intelligent, Venus wouldn't be a thing. Venus would be another Earth.
So here's the thing: structure is intelligent.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Structure is not. Structure is intelligent.
Trees have structure. Are trees alive?
What?
Trees have structure.
Do you mean are trees intelligent?
Trees intelligent. I'm sorry. Trees have structure. Are trees intelligent?
Right, and so are we. So that's my point.
Just hold on, Danette. You didn't actually answer my question. Hold on, listen. You didn't actually answer my question. Trees have structure. Are trees intelligent?
No.
Can you go up and have a conversation? Exactly, but they have structure.
But trees are not the only thing that has been created. You have a brain, don't you? Brains are structured, right?
Yeah, brains have.
Brains
hold on, Danette. Listen. You cannot simply say structure equals intelligence, because you just admitted that trees have structure, but they're not intelligent. Structure doesn't mean intelligence.
The only thing that has been created. So you cannot just stop at trees.
Danette, I'm not stopping at trees. I'm saying structure. No, I'm not. I'm not stopping at trees.
Everything in the universe, literally everything in the universe has a structure.
Right,
we are the only intelligent beings.
Right, but you also are excluding human beings and brains.
Danette, I'm not. No, I'm not. Listen. I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. You said structure equals intelligent, but it doesn't, because there are things with structure that don't have intelligence. That doesn't mean I'm excluding humans. Doesn't mean I'm doing that. I'm simply telling you that your argument of structure equals intelligence is nonsense, because there are things that. Hold on, listen. I'm saying that there are things that have structure that do not have intelligence.
No, you have to be intelligent to structure is my point.
But trees have structure without it.
I said you have to be intelligent to structure.
But trees structure and don't have intelligence.
That's not what I said. Not to have structure in order to That means to do it.
Trees structure themselves and they don't have intelligence. Plant structure, they don't have intelligence.
No, trees don't structure themselves.
Yeah, they do. Talk to a botanist. Talk to any botanist. They'll tell you. Trees structure themselves. They create sugar and they have photosynthesis, and that's how they grow. They structure themselves. They don't have intelligence.
Trees were put into play to continue to structure. But
how do you prove that to be true? How do you show that to be true?
Who put the first tree up?
What do you mean? Who put the first tree up? That doesn't make any sense. What does that mean? There was no first tree. There was no first tree.
There is. Everything had a start.
I know everything had a start, but there was no first tree. That's not how nature works. There is no first thing of something. That's not how it works. Nature works in populations. There is no first. Things evolve.
To give structure and to give order, that is intelligent. So in order to give structure, to give order.
All right. So we're gonna go ahead and get out of here, y'all. I do appreciate everybody being here. I did go over time a little bit. I'm 30 minutes past the time I promised my wifey that I was gonna get off. But I do appreciate everybody being here, you guys. I'm sorry I didn't get to everybody. I do want to go ahead and bring you all up, but go ahead and follow me again. Y'all could come back Thursday. I said Thursday, Friday. Y'all come back tomorrow. Come back tomorrow, y'all, because I would definitely love to talk to y'all again. But I am going to go ahead and get out of here early. I appreciate y'all. Lords, tell the people where to find you. I'm sorry, say that again, Lords. Everywhere. Find Lords. Jovan, tell the people where to find you, brother.
Right here, dog. Click my name right here.
Yeah, click them right there. You can find them there. You can find them on YouTube. And you can also find me on YouTube as well. My channel is Volcy Thoughts. Shout out to everyone who watched me on Deconstruction Zone. You guys are amazing. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to everybody who watched me on Volcy Thoughts. Shout out to y'all. And shout out to everybody who watched me on the Black Atheist Coalition. You guys are amazing. Shout out to y'all. Y'all wonderful. We did get to the 25K like goal. Go ahead and follow me because I'm going to be live tomorrow. We're doing this Thursday through Sunday. This is my religion week. Next week is going to be my politics week. You guys are amazing. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good night. Love y'all.